In China, people loved to touch my skin to see if my color would come off, or touch my hair, especially if my hair looked like this. They would love to touch my hair, but without asking. That makes people feel really uncomfortable. The differences between being black in Taiwan versus being black in China. One thing has to be pictures. When I lived in China, I lived in many different cities, but when I lived there, people loved to take pictures of me and with me. 95% of the time without my consent. In Taiwan, that's not really a thing. I think I've been here for about 11 months and I've seen one person take a picture of me, old man. And apart from that, nobody takes pictures of me, which I like. It is very uncomfortable when people take pictures of you, especially when they don't ask. Number 2 has to be touching me. In China, people loved to touch my skin to see if my color would come off, or touch my hair, especially if my hair looked like this. They would love to touch my hair, but without asking. They would just touch me. That makes people feel really uncomfortable. In Taiwan, generally people ask me, can I touch your hair? Which is okay, but I still don't really like it, but at least they ask. As a black person, I think living in Taiwan is somewhat better. For example, when I go outside, people will look at me, but not as much. I live in a city in Taiwan where there isn't that many foreigners, and especially not that many black people, and people generally don't stare at me. They generally don't. They generally just leave me alone. Whereas in China, people used to look at me all the time. There are pros and cons of living in either Taiwan or China. I think if you live in any really homogenous society, obviously it will be hard to fit in. I have encountered, some people who do not think fondly of black people, but I think a lot of that comes from preconceived notions of what you think a particular group of people will be like. Watching the media, watching the news, maybe it doesn't really paint black people in a very positive light, but I think, as the same with any other race of people, there are going to be good people and there are going to be bad people. If you ever do meet a foreigner, you should try to don't look at them as a foreigner, but just try to actually get to know them as a person, because it could surprise you. You could meet somebody who you have a lot in common with, and you meet people who are not from your country. I think you shouldn't try not to put up a barrier, try to get past their outer look and try to get to know what kind of person they are on the inside. And for me personally, I think I prefer living in Taiwan just because I get to live a life that's a bit more like a human, in the sense of, obviously there's people who are curious about me and curious about the fact that I'm black and the fact that I'm foreign, the fact that I can, but I think generally speaking, while living here, people leave me to live my life and don't really get too involved in my life. I don't really feel like a zoo animal, which is what I felt like in China.